Hello, welcome to the Carousel of Conversations. You're in for a real treat. Join us as we take a spin through the past, present, and future of all things Disney. Here, where there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, just a podcast away. Let the podcast begin.
Hey, guess who's back?
Noah!
Guess who's back? Back again. That's a bad reference. I'm back.
Your mom is so ashamed of you right now.
Whatever.
That is nothing new, okay? That is not news. That's been alive for a very long time.
But it's good to have Noah back. We did have a fun episode last week with Juliet, and we're so
Yes.
grateful for her and her cruise insight. Man, that was a wealth of knowledge that I didn't have.
Noah, we've decided that we're going to go on a Disney cruise together.
Ooh.
The
Wonderful.
podcast is hitting the seas.
I'll sleep outside on
No.
the floor because I can't afford a room on there. So I'm just gonna sleep in front of y'all's room. Just get a sleeping bag. It'll be
You know
fine.
how you probably could afford a room on there?
Continue.
If people would go to our Magic Kennel Company and
Yes.
use our special promo code there and get 15%
The one
off
that we
your
have.
order.
The code that we have, and that RJ, what is that? Just to make sure.
Carousel Pod.
Yep, I was testing your knowledge.
Pod.
Testing your knowledge on
15%
it.
off. Bring
One
the
five.
magic
15%,
home
not
to
50.
you.
All the smells, every single one of them. Purchase all of them because you want your
Yes.
entire house to smell like every ride. So like you could
Yes.
have your room, you could have pirates in your room. Then your kitchen, you could have Rome burning. So everyone thinks you're burning something in your kitchen, but you're not.
And
it's
the
Rome burning.
poly in your bathroom with that hand soap.
You need something strong in there. I know you. I know you.
good.
You need something strong in there. Get the Polynesian.
And no, we're great at these advertisements, by the way. We're professionals, and nobody knows any different.
And if you're into the
I mean,
oils, you can get them to diffuse into your
So good. Jessalyn, you have a new background piece
I
for
do.
your
Okay, so one of my
podcast.
awesome students painted this. It's the rose from Belle. I love it. It's perfect for
It
my
looks
corner.
great. I think
looks
it's
great.
She
Yeah,
did
it's
a great
fantastic.
job.
Yes, they did an
Yeah.
awesome job.
It's-
I'm so
I'm
laughing at
impressed.
if you got oils, you can diffuse them.
You know, some
I got
people
a
prefer
new
the
thing, too.
oils.
I got a new thing
Yes.
too.
What
Look,
is yours?
Look, it's a Mufasa popcorn bucket. I love it. I love it. Okay. So
I have nothing to do with my
tonight's
background.
episode I'm also very excited about, but I wanted to talk real quickly just before that next week we're going to be doing the 70th anniversary for Disneyland episode, and we've invited my sister who just got back from Disneyland to tell us a little bit about the 70th anniversary, like all the different merch and all the different like cool activities and different things that you can do that's special to the 70th anniversary celebration. So I'm really excited about that episode next week. It's been a while since I've been to Disneyland or even talked about Disneyland. And so I'm excited to get that perspective.
How dare
And
we
so
review
next week
a
you'll want to
movie
join
with
us for that.
spoiling it. It is our fault.
This
We need to
week, though,
develop
we're
a new
going to
way of
focus
reviewing
on
something without spoiling it.
the
But for
Lilo
now,
and
you will have
Stitch
to do with
movie.
spoilers. It
So,
has been out for like
I want to
3 or
start
4
the
weeks
whole
now.
podcast with a
Yeah.
spoiler
So you've
warning.
had time. I know
We
you
are
have
going
time.
to spoil it all.
Yeah. As per usual, we are timely and punctual with our reviews.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it has been.
Honestly, if you haven't seen it, it's your fault at this point.
In our classic fashion.
Well, we would have been, but somebody had to, be on vacation.
For 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
And what were you
I
two
didn't know
doing?
Chick-fil-A
What were you-
paid enough to go on a 2-week vacation.
That is enough of you and your oils diffusing. That is enough.
I don't diffuse the
I'll
oils.
diffuse your oils, okay?
Whoa, whoa.
Push me too hard.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, but yeah, so we're excited about all these different things going on, but I did want to warn you that from here on out, we're
There's
gonna spoil everything. So if you haven't seen the movie, we are gonna spoil everything for you. So I just wanted to warn you ahead of time in case you hadn't seen it yet. Come back and listen to this after you've watched it. All right, now I need to get this off my chest right away, because there was a couple people who I ran into that are friends, and the first thing they asked me was, did you see the new Lilo and Stitch live action movie? But they asked me in a way that was deeply offensive to me, and so I wanted to address it, because this is how they said it. They said, did you like the Lilo and Stitch movie more than the Mufasa movie?
I have a problem with that.
I have a problem with that. And that is the fact that, okay, number one, Mufasa is a new story. Lilo and Stitch is a remake. Mm-hmm. Number two, it's a Lion King movie. Of course I'm going to say Mufasa is better than Lilo and Stitch live action. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, you can't like compare those two because, like you said, Lilo and Stitch was not a new storyline; it was a remake.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Mufasa was a brand new storyline. Like we've never knew the story of Mufasa or Scar, and so yeah, can't compare those.
But if I did have to pick, it's Mufasa all day. I just wanted to get
Mufasa
that
was
out there.
really good.
It was really good. I will give it that.
I know we're gonna like get into our ratings and everything by the end of the episode, but I will just go ahead and say that I really did like Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no... But, like, come on. It's Lion King. And me and Lion King just, like, you know, yeah. It's my favorite. So
You could say,
right, let's go ahead.
it is your brother.
Brother.
Okay, so first, what were your first impressions of the movie? What were kind of your expectations going into this Lilo and Stitch remake? Were you expecting it to be kind of like a shot for shot of the original one, or did you know that it was going to be slightly different in the storyline? Like, what were your guys' thoughts going into it before you had actually seen it? What were your expectations? We'll go with Jessalyn first.
Well, I think that a lot of your diehard Lilo and Stitch fans went in with this expectation that it was going to be shot for shot. And I really kind of think, like, it's never, like, that's never going to happen. So,
Right.
Those are, like, really hard expectations to go into. But I was not a huge fan of the animated Lilo and Stitch. But I was really, really excited about the live action one just from like the previews and the commercials and stuff, just the humor in it. And so I was really excited, but I also didn't have this expectation that everything was going to be perfect and aligned to the original either. So I was excited, and I don't feel like I was disappointed either.
Yeah. And were you excited? So I know a lot of people have opinions on remakes and live actions. Like, what were your thoughts on that, Jessalyn?
Well, I thought it was a really good one. I think, like, of all of the live action remakes, Lilo and Stitch is the best one, honestly. Now, Beauty and the Beast is top of the game for me, too. But Lilo and Stitch, it was so good. I cried 5 times. 5 times. I counted 5 different times I cried in this movie.
Okay.
What about you, Noah?
Well, I went into expecting not to be shot for shot, like Justin said, but I expected it to be very funny, which it was. The funny meter was on top of it, and I really did enjoy it. I was expecting it to be a little bit more true to the story than it might have been. It was a few more adjustments than I was expecting, but I still enjoyed it, and I thought it was a great overall experience.
But I will say that like, I don't know what we had planned to talk about, but the ending is obviously different than the original.
Yeah,
And it's
it is a
getting
little
a
different.
lot of hate right now from like some of my like reels and algorithm coming up. And I really think that I actually like the ending of this one better.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if we need to talk about that later though, but
We'll talk about it later. Yeah, for sure. For me, I did expect it to be a little bit different being a live action, but I'm like Jessalyn in the fact that I didn't necessarily enjoy the original one in the same way I enjoyed the live action one. Not to go into my review too much, but the graphics on the live action itself, the CGI for Stitch, was probably the best CGI I've seen for a live action remake that Disney has put out to date. I even had some complaints, and I don't know if you remember this from the Mufasa movie, where like you could tell in certain moments where the CGI was just not well done or it felt rushed. But in this one, I didn't ever feel like Stitch's CGI. I felt like Stitch was real that whole entire movie. There was never a moment where I thought, oh, this looks terrible, or oh, the graphics are bad.
No, I do say there were a couple times during the movie I did catch it. Like at the very end, like Lilo and is hugging Stitch, and Nani comes and pets him on the head, and she just pets air. Like she doesn't even hit Stitch at all.
I did notice that. Oh, at the end with Nani, she was just like,
she's just like,
yeah, I did notice that.
There's no Stitch there. But there were a couple times where like, this is hard stuff to CGI, so I get they didn't get it right, but like Lilo's like holding Stitch up like this kind of off the ground, and it just looks a little shaky almost, like you can kind of tell he's not actually there. So that's a hard thing to do. Like you're going over a lot, but I get
it. With a
it's
young
really cool,
actress like that too.
Yeah.
Like I think this was like her first big thing. You know,
there were a lot of things for them to jump over in this movie, which they did great on a lot of things, but like just some things they fell short of, which are completely understandable in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I came into it with the perspective of not knowing, like having memorized the original story either. So I came in with kind of low expectations of the Stitch remake. I was excited to see it, but kind of like I didn't really love the first storyline. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset, and there's a lot of people who are just obsessed and love Lilo and Stitch, and that's fine. But like for me, it was like Lion King is I have that whole movie memorized type thing. Lilo and Stitch was one of those movies that I've watched a few times in my life, but not like I couldn't tell you exactly what the original storyline was. And so that's kind of, and it's been years since I've seen the original Lilo and Stitch. So for me tonight, it's going to be hard to compare it to the original one because I don't remember the original one. So I guess that gives me a perspective that's a little unique in the fact that I can only go off of what I know from the new one and not necessarily from the original one to compare it to. But anyway, I wanted to talk about first the characters that kind of the like a deep dive into the characters and what you thought about them. First, I want to start off by saying I thought that the Lilo actress was like perfect for that role. I feel like she was made for it.
It was great.
Bella looks like a little Lilo.
Yeah, she does.
And oftentimes, like in the movie, the way Lilo acted, I'm like, that's Bella.
I agree. I did see a couple of those moments too.
The way she talks to our dog is like the exact same way that Lilo was talking to Stitch, and it just made it like, no, don't you dare! Like when he's doing the soda thing, and he's like,
oh my gosh,
I was thinking to myself, that was Bella.
She was so good though. She was a perfect Lilo. I loved it.
I don't think they could have cast that any better than what they cast it for her as an actress. And like a lot of times kid actresses or actors, you can tell that they're not like polished. You know what I mean? But I never really like she's a kid actor, but I didn't feel like she was terrible. You know, like I felt like she was just as good, if not better, than some of the other adult actors that were in the movie and actresses that were in the movie. Yeah. So I felt like that was good. I also feel like Nani did a great job too.
Yeah, I was
In the
unsure
movie.
Yeah.
about Nani at first.
Yeah, I was too.
But then
I was a little bit.
but
yeah.
then I started liking her. But
Mhm.
I think too, like, there was so much like new side characters in the movie that I felt like kind of took over some of that motherly aspect from Nani.
Yeah.
But she just seemed so, and I get like that's the point of the story, but the like sister side of her didn't come out till later, you know.
Yeah, I do have
which
to say,
felt
like-
was a little different.
I feel like the Nani in the live action was just shy close to the animated version because I watched the animated version a lot as a kid,
Yeah.
and I feel like the Nani in the animated version was a lot more loving-ish and caring almost
Yeah.
than the live action. The live action felt a little cold, which could have
Yeah.
been writing, it could have been the actress, it could have been a lot of different things.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's just my
I
opinion
don't feel
on
like
her. She felt a
I
little
definitely
different.
see like what you mean by coldness because
Yeah.
I felt that, but not the whole movie. Like there was an
No, there
aspect
were some
where
parts.
it went away, you know.
Yeah.
But
By the
up
end, it was
front, it was very much like,
hmm
oh, she's different. You know, this is
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
This doesn't feel the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like she kind of worked her way into the role. There were but like being a main character, I think that like they did her story well. Like I don't think they did it in improper.
No, okay, so fun
we
fact,
can-
I didn't know this until like maybe a couple days ago. I think I sent it to you too, RJ. I may have sent it to Noah. The lady who's the child protective service
Mhm.
woman, she voiced the original Nani.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I
That's
yeah, I
cool.
saw
I
that.
didn't know
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
That's very cool. I
But
didn't
yeah,
know that.
I do feel like, and then the guy who played the voice of Stitch was the same.
Yeah, he was the same guy.
Yeah.
The same guy. And so I felt like that was good, and I felt like he did the voice perfectly. I mean, but how could you not?
I would
That's
almost
true.
feel like this movie wouldn't have worked if they didn't get him again.
Yeah. If they
No,
didn't
I
get him,
agree.
I don't think I
Yeah.
would have gone, actually.
It wouldn't have worked. Yeah. Yeah.
But fun
Yeah.
fact, another actor fun fact is the guy who plays Pleakley, like the human version of him,
yeah.
was the weird guy from the live action Aladdin that like proposes to Jasmine.
Yes.
That talks
oh my
about the
goodness.
cannons. That's
Yes,
who he
you're
was.
I didn't realize that.
so
Yeah.
That's
right,
awesome.
Because I kept
little kitty.
thinking during the movie, I was like, where do I know him
Yes,
from?
that's
like,
what
I know
me and
him
Mom were
from-
like the entire time too. We were like, I know this guy from somewhere. It's not Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it was irking me. So at the end of the theater, I looked it up, and it was from Aladdin.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
that's
yes.
so funny.
He talked like with his mouth closed. Like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The guy who was supposed to get a show on Disney Plus. Did you guys know that? The
No.
live action Prince from Aladdin. He was supposed to get his own show on Disney Plus, and it never went through.
Oh man.
I think
Oh,
that would
man,
have been
would've
fun
funny.
because he was a fun
Yeah.
character in the
Yeah.
movie. I enjoyed him.
He was.
funny.
Yeah.
You know who I thought was another funny character and like was it David's mom or grandma?
Yes,
Was
Mom.
I think
or
it
grandma?
was.
His mom.
I think it was his mom.
His mom.
Yeah.
I think, but
So
she was
his
hilarious.
mom was hilarious,
and that
in
is
the
a
movie.
new character from the animated for those who
Right.
don't
I
know.
was gonna
Which
ask because I
also-
didn't remember her.
Yeah.
No, because the only mention of David in the animation is just like him, and it's like you don't
Yeah.
know. He just works with Nani. Like he just you don't know. You didn't even know they were neighbors. Like I didn't know that was. Did you know it?
No, that's not a thing in the animated. I don't think
I
they
didn't
live
think
just
so,
kind of close
yeah.
by because they never show David's house even in the animated or the shows.
Yeah.
So
Right. Which I
I
will
like
have
the
to
addition of
say,
his mom.
Like,
Yeah, she was
I
hilarious.
think David though was much funnier
yes.
in the live action than the original. Like I
Yeah, they
really,
played him
really
more.
enjoyed his character. Yes.
Yeah. I thought the whole family dynamic and them being across the street,
Mm-hmm.
but then I also liked how they developed his family aspect and his family life in the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
movie. I thought that was really well done. Like where they would show the shot of like Nani and Lilo trying to eat dinner and the chaos that ensued in the
Mm-hmm.
house as she's trying to figure things out, and then you pan over to David and his mom, and they're sitting outside on the porch with the lights on, and they're sitting down eating dinner together, and they have their lives together almost.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I like the little moments like where she's chasing the chickens and stuff, and so like
Yeah, no, that was
I don't know,
funny.
there were a lot of cool
Dude,
moments.
she was a beast on that 4-wheeler.
That was so funny.
The way she
the goat, too.
flew off that
I loved
mountain.
the goat. The goat was hilarious too.
Yes, so good. And I did like how, which I know that's like foreshadowing or whatever, but how she, even though obviously Nani was Lilo's, guardian, she was the guardian the whole time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, she made sure Nani was also taken care of, which I loved that. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't.
We
have
could
that
just
in
talk about it
animated.
right now. The way they ended Nani's character, I liked.
Yeah, I did enjoy it.
It's getting so much hate. Like, I saw one thing, I don't know, so much is a hyperbole, but like a lot of these things online right now, like my reels, Ohana, they'll show this clip from the animated. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind. And it says, but the live action means Ohana is family. Family means I'm going to put my sister in foster care so I can pursue my dreams. And I'm like, I just didn't take it like I did not take it like that at all.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
ultimately, it was Lilo's decision,
Yeah,
right? Because
Nani
Nani
didn't
said
make
no.
the decision because she was
Yeah.
very like I don't want to do this because I'm leaving you and I feel like that's wrong on my part.
Right.
And then
Right.
Lilo's like, no, you need to go to the Marines. And
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, right, the Marines. But like,
But I feel like that's more realistic of a storyline too.
Yeah.
but the thing about it is, it wasn't that she was just throwing her in a system that wasn't taking care of her. She put her in an adoptive home that was showed the whole time that they were taking
was
care of her,
healthy and good
and she could take
conditions.
Stable, yeah.
Yeah, stable.
David's mom, which her name has slipped my mind. What her name is in the movie, but
I really don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
I can't remember, but like David's mom, like obviously can take care of Lilo better than what
Yeah.
Nani could, and the fact
Exactly.
that it even showed at the end credit scenes, like Nani coming back and staying, and they stayed in their home. It was what it looked like. They didn't like really insinuate to that, but that was Lilo's room at that end credit scene.
Yeah, I don't really know
You
how
know?
that worked because their home, spoiler
But they
alert, burnt
did
down
show
and destroyed and
That
stuff.
they started fixing.
Oh yeah,
it
they
a little
did.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
I don't really know what
take that
happened
as
there.
they moved into her home, which would have been her
I
comfort,
guess.
like whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it was I loved the ending. I loved
Yeah.
the ending. So good.
It was
I
good.
loved all the character development too. Like I loved the way that they were bringing in that her passion was to go pursue the marine biology thing. But then they also developed the family aspect of the characters with David and his mom and how stable their home environment was, which made it make more sense in reality.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in reality, when the CPS agent, and we could talk about side characters now, but the side characters played an integral part as well. Like the CPS agent, how caring and motherly and not hateful she was,
Yeah.
but also like making sure that Lilo was taken care of. She was probably, other than Cobra Bubbles, which I actually like what they did with Cobra Bubbles. I know a lot of people didn't, and Noah may be one of those people that didn't like what they did with Cobra Bubbles.
I think original Cobra Bubbles was hilarious. That he was actually he was undercover as a CPS agent the entire
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
but he was actually the super CIA. I
Yeah.
didn't enjoy the fact. Oh, I enjoyed the movie and I enjoyed Cobra Bubbles, but I enjoyed less that he was like a CIA then CPS just for a few minutes or in a few days. You know, I liked.
Yeah.
I think it was just comical how he was always just a CPS agent, but he was actually
Children
CIA.
are always aliens or something.
Must inspect the children. Yeah, but my biggest gripe about the entire movie is Jumba's new voice actor, the big alien.
It's
He sounded
Zach
like a
Galifianakis.
nerd. Yeah,
And
you
you know
sound like
who
a
it
nerd.
is, don't you?
No,
like
I
he's
don't.
like this like big comedian actor, whatever.
Really?
Yes.
They pulled a Pumbaa from Lion King. Like, you know how
Okay, so
yeah, it's just not the same.
Okay, no, I get that. So when he first started talking, like, because they show him in his CGI form first,
Yeah.
and and I was like, whoa, that's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
it. But
In
then
the
when
human
they
form, I was
showed
fine.
his
Yeah, in
human,
human form, I
form,
was fine.
I recognized the actor, and then I was like, you know what? I'll accept it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just like in the CGI form, it just like the voices didn't fit the body in my
Okay,
opinion.
so how did you feel about, and like we said, these are spoilers, how did you feel about them making him a villain?
I also didn't like that, you know?
Really?
A little, yeah.
See, I always felt like he was the villain, though. Even in the TV series and stuff afterwards, like my daughter's been watching a lot of those TV series. I've always felt like Jamba is the villain.
Well, like, I feel like it's kind of that Ohana real meaning is that they take in the good and the bad, almost. So they took in Jumba to be a part of their family, even though he's a bad guy and he continues to do bad stuff. They're showing that it's okay, we still love him, in a sense, you know? Instead of just, you know, like kicking him out because he did something bad. Of course, he was way worse in this movie than he was in the TV show or the original movie. The actions he
Right.
does are worse and he is actively being a bad guy. But in the animated, it's kind of like by the end of the movie, he turns good, you know? And I feel like that gives him a more complete, rounded character. Because in this movie, he's very flat. He doesn't have any dynamic to him. In the original, he's a dynamic character where he starts at one point and ends at one point. In this movie, he's just a straight line.
Yeah. The other complaint I see a
Call that
lot with this
static character. You use the word dynamic, which is a great
Yeah.
literary term, but let's also
thank
use
you.
the opposite term.
I learned that last year.
Static character.
Like water, like static water. Don't
Okay,
drink
no,
static water.
just static.
This is why y'all missed me.
Our daughter has been watching The Lion Guard. This is a side note, totally off topic.
This
And
is
there's
so
this
awesome.
We're good at this.
moment. There's this one moment where one of the characters dies, and they like talk about how she completed her journey through the circle of life. But if you ask my daughter what it's like, I was like, "Did she just die?" And she goes, "No, Daddy. She completed her journey through the circle of life."
And she does
Like,
this
she
whole
has a
circle
hand
motion
motion.
with her hand.
It's like in
She completed
SpongeBob
her
at one
journey
point.
through the circle of life.
It's like, Squidward, you have to use your imagination.
But like it's like every time, like she'll be like, "Mommy, do you want to watch so and so complete their journey through the circle of life?"
And so it's hilarious. I don't know why I thought of that in this moment. Anyway, how do
No,
you
to
feel
segue
like they
back.
took? Do you feel like they took away a lot of Stitch's emotional moments or his character building at all, or do you feel like everything was still well done with him?
Oh my goodness. The Stitch moment. Oh, I'm going to cry if I even talk about it. I'm going to try not to cry right now. I can't not cry.
I'll
The
talk about
Stitch
it.
moment that gets that like pulls at my heartstrings every time is when the head mistress alien, whatever her name is, she's like, "Stitch, who are these people?" And Stitch is like, "This is my family. They're broken, but still good." And I'm like, "Whoa!" Like, I had,
That
like,
happens in the
heavy-
animation too.
I know it gets me in the animation
Oh,
one too,
okay.
but like in the movie theater, like I had like thick streams of tears. Like they're broken, but they're still good, and I'm like, yeah.
Stitch is such a cute character. Again,
He
hate him in
is.
merchandising and in the Disney parks, but movie Stitch good.
Yes.
And he of course, he was funny in this as well. Like, They didn't
Yeah.
lose. They didn't miss out on his comedy or anything, which I
No.
enjoyed. Like again, like how RJ said, where he's like has like the water gun, and he's like aiming it at
Yes.
Lilo. It's so funny. There's a few moments. I can't
even
remember
like
the
the
others.
changes they made to the Elvis scene a little bit, but I like the Elvis scene as well, where
Yeah.
he's doing the record player Elvis scene.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
the
thought
mouth.
that
And
was
Nani's just
super
not paying
funny.
attention.
Yeah.
Where he broke all the glasses too. That
A
moment
Nani
was
moment
hilarious.
that I really liked, that I felt like, you know what, if I was Nani, I would do this exact action, is when she made the Capri Sun into tea. I was like, yeah, I would totally do something like that. 100%.
That was
And
funny.
the CPS lady, that was Capri Sun, wasn't it? That was great.
Should we tell Noah what
Oh.
Bella's favorite line is in the movie?
Yes. You
Yeah.
should.
The superpower one? Okay,
Yeah.
so Bella's in this stage of life where, like, everything about bodily noises is hilarious to her, right? And it's probably because she watches Lion King all the time, and like Timon and Pumbaa just don't help with that. And so when Lilo was talking about how Stitch has superpowers, she goes, I don't even have any. The only superpower I have is when I run really fast, I toot. And she goes like, or whatever. And so Bella, every time she tells someone she watches Lilo and Stitch, she goes, yeah, Lilo goes, and we're like, well, there's more to the movie than just that.
That's hilarious.
But there were a lot of good moments like that I felt like were hilarious. Or even like at the towards the very end when Stitch brings back the broken down car that he's torn up, and he's just like pushing it along, and it's like all beat up and stuff.
Yeah.
I think those sorts of moments are super good as well. I think the character development, everything about this movie, I thought I really enjoyed. All right, moving on a little bit to the next topic, because we've talked a lot about the characters, but I think that's an important part of it. Music score. I felt like they did a good job with the music.
I think they did a good job as well.
Noah, tell me, because I've been dying to ask you this. Tell me, how did your mom react when she heard Bruno go off in the movie?
She was excited.
Did she start dancing?
I think so. It's been like a couple weeks, but I think she did start dancing. You
Oh
can
my
ask her.
goodness.
She would probably start dancing if you said
our
Bruno Mars or
followers
something.
need to know that Noah's mom is Bruno Mars's #1 fan.
She does like a lot of his hits.
She does. And so in Lilo and Stitch, one of the new things they did is when Lilo lands on Earth, he hits a wedding. And the wedding is, the party is dancing to Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars.
Yep.
And so that's the whole music scene there.
Yeah.
And I, for one, loved it and did not know much of what happened in that scene.
It was
because
so funny.
I looked over
Yeah.
at RJ, I was like, it's Bruno!
Is this officially the first Disney movie to feature Bruno Mars? I
As
think
far
it
as
might
I know.
be.
Probably.
I don't know that they'll feature many other things, but this.
That's true. That'll be his one-hit wonder in Disney.
I also feel like they honored the Hawaiian roller coaster ride, but still made it good.
Yeah.
They did make it good.
Like I like the new
they didn't
version.
trash it up.
Obviously,
like the Mr. Grinch song from the Grinch animation. You know what you did.
Noah.
no.
Noah.
Yeah.
Those are fighting words.
I don't. Yeah,
You really
first of all,
are healed.
I
You're a mean
don't like
one.
the new one.
You really are here.
I really don't like it.
Well, you should ask Bella to sing it. She can rap it for you.
That's the only version I think I will like.
I do feel like, I mean, obviously you're not going to change Burning Love from Elvis, you know, like you're not
Yeah.
going to change moments like that. But I feel like you aren't going to change, like, everything else about it, Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, like all those other songs that were in the original. I feel like they did them
Yeah,
justice.
I loved it. It was good.
Yeah. I don't have any complaints or any more comments really about the
I'm
music.
good.
But
I've expressed all I need
Great
to
job,
express,
Disney.
especially about the Grinch.
All right. So, live action versus animated. Which do you like better?
Noah, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I'm really
It's
curious what
actually
Noah
hard.
thinks.
It's actually a difficult decision. Normally, I come with these things pretty easily, but this one's very difficult because I did enjoy the live action and I did enjoy the original. I have a few things about the live action that I didn't like and I felt like were wrong altogether, and it was a lot of the pacing in the movie. I feel like a lot of things, like especially the beginning where they introduced 626 and Jumba and the whole sequence of the movie, that first part, the first 10-15 minutes, felt like it was going at super speed compared to the original. Like, it felt like the first, like 45 minutes of the first, like of the original movie, were cut down into 10 minutes in the live action. And a few other parts I felt like the same thing, where they didn't let the moment breathe. Like, again, Jumba and 626. I feel like when they're talking about his brain being supercomputer and all of that, they didn't have any room to breathe in that sequence of events, and I feel like it just dragged. Like, you felt like you're missing out on key story points, and you're just brushing over items. You guys think so?
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of I don't remember a lot of the original one. So I don't have a lot to compare it to. I do feel like they could have focused more on that, but I feel like what they did was they emphasized more of the story of the relationship between Nani, Lilo, and Stitch. And I felt like that was my preference. Okay, CGI budget aside or whatever, those scenes were very well done, but I feel like if they did any more of them, we would have noticed more of the CGI issues in a movie, if
That's
that makes sense.
But like, I think like if they replaced the wedding scene, I know Bruno Mars and it was hilarious. If they replaced that with story elements of Jumba or Nina,
Nani.
Nani and Lilo, I feel like the story would have flowed a little better and it wouldn't have felt so clunky, because it feels like the first 15 minutes are about the aliens, the next 45 minutes are about humans, and then there's just like this clunky feeling whenever it switches back to the aliens, because you don't fully know what these aliens are about. You know, Pleakley has earth science, whatever, because he walks out in a cowboy costume in the beginning. That was
I thought
funny.
that was great.
That was
Yeah.
great. But I do feel like, especially if you watch the original again, like Jumba is just more fleshed out, especially when he's an alien, in that beginning sequence that we didn't get in the live action. And he's just kind of like rambling on, like sparking highlights of Stitch, almost like it's a chart that he's following, instead of genuinely being interested in his creation like he is in the animated.
Yeah. No, I see where you're coming from with that. I feel like they were trying to develop Stitch's chaos a little bit more at the beginning part of the movie, which was the change that they made. But I feel like it was kind of important to develop the rest of his chaotic moments, to understand that, like, with his chaotic moments without Lilo versus his chaotic moments with Lilo, that he was more toned down, and then the more refined his character gets as the movie progresses. So like super chaotic, not understanding the world, getting into the world and being just absolutely nuts crazy, like just super chaos, meeting Lilo and her kind of taming that chaos a little bit but still chaotic, and trying to teach him how to be less himself and more family oriented, but also explaining the love of family. And then like seeing him at the very end, to that character development, I think was important, but I don't think the alien backstory was as important as the Stitch story.
I do have to say, like, they did play down the alien story and back, like, all of that. I feel like it was for a reason, because they told a slightly different story in the live action than they did in the animation, which requires that to be changed and things to be altered, which I think they did a good job with. It just, if you're wanting to get back to the original, they messed up that a little bit, and I just kind of felt like they're moving a little quickly. But, you know, that's all I thought. But I think I do enjoy the animation better than live action. I think I do.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of frame of reference for the original one, so for me, I just remember not enjoying the original one, but really enjoying the live action one. Like, I felt like from start to end, I would watch that movie again over and over again. Which I'm not like that with a lot of movies, but I'm like really excited for this one to come out on Disney Plus so I can watch it again. Like, I've almost been tempted a few times to just look at Jessalyn and say, let's go watch it again. Which I don't do that for a lot of movies. Like, it's just not my personality.
I'm
kind of
me to go watch it again.
I'm kind of like a one and done movie type of guy unless I really love it. And so these are one of those movies that I would definitely watch again, and I think I enjoyed it more than I expected to, which I thought was good. So for me, I could not go back and watch the original one, but I will go back and watch the live action one. And I know that probably offends a lot of people. If somebody said that about Lion King to me, I would be deeply offended. So I get it. But for me, again, Lion King was my movie growing up. Stitch wasn't. So this is my opinion on having not seen it in a very long time. Jessalyn?
That's wrong.
I think just, in short, I don't want to recap all that, but I would be the same way. I like both animated and the live action, but I think I enjoyed the live action just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're down to it already. Our final thoughts.
Final
Wow.
thoughts.
We speed
Yeah,
ran this
I know.
one.
We've kind of gone, and it's not even that we've speed run it. We've just kind of covered it. I feel
Yeah.
like really well. But I feel like our movie reviews are always a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
So
We're very good at reviewing.
any final thoughts or any reactions or anything that you have, your favorite moments, anything like that? My favorite moment was the same as Jessalyn's, the very end, the broken
Oh, yeah.
comment.
Oh, it's broken.
Like, I just think that was my favorite.
So good.
I also like the spaceship scene a whole lot where he saves her in the end or whatever.
Oh, yeah. They had to change
Like,
that in
even at the
animation.
risk,
Yeah.
even at the risk of his own life, and the way Nani saved him, like by going into the water and
I really
carrying
did.
him
We didn't
out.
talk about that, but they really did develop Nani's whole story a lot, which I think
Yeah.
one thing that I really did like about that, like her training with surfing and stuff like that. Because you don't know much about her
Marines.
in the animation. But in the live action, the fact that all this training helped save Stitch, and because in the animation it was David that saved Stitch, so I
Yeah.
like that it was Nani that time. Yeah, no, I really like that a lot. But I think my favorite is always, and there were so many heart moments, like Lilo just wanting a friend, and
Yeah.
not having, wishing on the falling star or whatever, the shooting star, and then having Stitch and saying, I wished for him, and all those heart moments is probably some of my favorites.
The ugly dog and the collar scene was just hilarious to me. Like the
Yeah.
throwing off of the collar.
That entire scene was funny, especially because David, caught
Yeah.
the stage on fire again. That was great.
I'm with you on that. Like, I think that's my favorite scene, the very end, but I love the character development of Nani. I love David's mom and her character development. I think that was really well done. I like the ending better. I know that's probably contrarian opinion, but I feel like I like the ending of Lilo and Stitch for the live action better than I like the original one.
I am glad that Pleakley still stayed around,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
didn't just kick out they kicked out the aliens. I'm glad they still kept one of the aliens because that shows a little bit more of the original. But also, Pleakley's character the entire time, I'm glad they let Pleakley have his extravagant clothing again. I was afraid they're going to get rid of that because it's just so funny to see him come out in like in the show and stuff and like just this completely odd attire. And it's just like, okay, Pleakley.
Yes.
I'm glad they kept it, especially since it's like this kind of muscly guy, so it's weird to see him in this stuff. It's kind of funny.
I also feel like from our daughter's perspective, she was the same way I was with the whole movie, where she watched the original animation one and she enjoyed it, but I feel like she enjoyed the live action one more, and she quotes it more and she laughs about it more and she has fonder memories of it. So from her perspective, I really feel like she enjoyed it more in the same way I did. And so I feel like everything was well done with it. I don't know. I just enjoyed the movie. I would definitely go see it again.
All right,
maybe that's what we can do tomorrow night.
Ooh, yes. Noah, what you
See
doing
there, the
tomorrow
popcorn
night?
bucket working.
Well, we gotta make that Chick-fil-A money so you can go on 2 weeks vacation.
If they have Stitch popcorn bucket, hit me up.
No, I wanted one and a sipper. They were sold out. So we went day 2. So like it was out on Thursday. We went on Saturday. So it's technically out Friday, but people started going and attending the movie Thursday night. And so we saw it Saturday. By Saturday, they were sold out of all the sippers and the popcorn buckets and everything.
All I'm saying, I'm
like,
so happy that movie theaters are adopting the Disney parks ideology and making like fun sippers and popcorn buckets for everything, because that's what makes money. Okay, it's not the tickets, it is the merchandise you can sell.
The furry the sipper was actually like had a furry texture to it.
Flocked. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, man, I really want that. And I was so mad when I couldn't get it because and the only one they had left, they were doing like a charity auction for it. And it was like $10 to enter a raffle. I was like so close. I was like, I know most of these and they're like dumb because you never win anything. But like, I was like this close to doing it just to try and win that sipper because I like the sipper.
I will say that after the movie, Bella was like, can we go get a Stitch Blinky or a Stitch Stuffy? And I was like, well, maybe that can be our souvenir from our Disney World trip this year. And so like every day she's like, are we gonna go get that Stitch Stuffy today? And I was like, no, Disney.
Did you see the Epcot ball balloon popcorn bucket that released?
Yes. RJ wasn't sure about it at first.
I didn't like it because the shape of it kind of looks a little odd. But when it lit up and I saw videos of it lighting up, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
I doubt they'll have any when we get there.
Probably not. But if they do,
okay.
When Noah goes, they might, but not when we go.
Well, I'm going to Hollywood. Probably.
But he's not going to Epcot.
Oh my gosh, it is a walking distance from Epcot to Hollywood
But I would need a park hopper ticket,
you don't
and
have
that's
a
like
park hopper.
$75. It's a lot of money.
What were the words that just came out of you?
And on that note, thank you guys so much for watching.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this next week, but that Mickey popcorn bucket for the 70th. I won't say more, but I can't wait to talk about that. Disney's doing well with their merchandise lately. Like I like a lot of those
vampire
cool
doll
things.
popcorn bucket, but it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I never see that anymore, Noah.
It's over there. It's over there. It was in my background for a while, okay?
Oh, I do have a
Zoom
new
meetings and stuff.
addition to my corner that you can't
Besides the
see.
Corner
paint?
edition.
Besides my painting.
That's cool. That's cool.
This is okay. So my niece wrote a letter to Chris Pratt. And
Okay, tell me when your addiction starts.
was sent back a picture with his signature. It says, "All the best. God bless, Chris Pratt."
Wow.
In my corner, right here.
What did the envelope say?
I don't want to say.
That's all you have to say it.
Okay,
What was the envelope addressed to?
said to Ashlyn and her aunt. So, like, Ashlyn wrote this
No,
letter.
and her what?
Well, the envelope said, they said, I need to confirm this with Ashlyn, but they said the letter, because another niece told me that the letter said Ashlyn and her obsessed aunt.
Tell me when it gets bad enough. Like, do you think it's bad enough whenever your niece sends mail to your coveted actor?
Okay, no, but like the funniest thing she said was, which I think is so sweet and funny, when she texted me the picture, it's a picture of the picture and like everything that she did. She goes, "I was hoping he would come for your birthday, but I guess this will work."
All right, confession. I do have to say, I'm harping on you for sending a letter to an actor when I did send a letter to Imagineering and they still haven't gotten back to me. I'm just thinking their applicants are really full and they're still waiting. It's been 8 months, but
Hey,
I think
you know
they're
what?
going to get back to me.
Our audience also needs to know that Noah made a huge life milestone this week. Maybe last week.
I did.
Noah
did I
is
do?
officially a graduate of high school.
I
He
did.
is a
I can
high
read
school
now.
Graduate.
I can
So
read.
He needs the Imagineers to get back to him so he knows what he
Yes.
can do with the rest of his
Fans,
life.
you are listening. Use all of your friend extensions. Hashtag Noah guy from the podcast needs to be an Imagineer. Start it. Go into the corners of the internet. Grab their attention.
Yes.
Well, it's good to have you back, Noah, and part of the podcast again. I'm excited to have you as a part of our interview next week for the 70th of Disneyland. Noah's never been to Disneyland, so
I have
he'll have to
not.
ask all the questions.
Exactly.
But it's
What
not
is
going
a
to be
Matterhorn?
necessarily yeah. It's not necessarily going to be a guide to Disneyland as much as it is just focusing on the Disneyland 70th anniversary
We all need to bring like
celebration.
notepads
But I am
and like checklists. Like, and what is your dream in 5 to 7 years? Where do you think you'll be at Disneyland?
But yeah, we'll definitely want to talk about Disneyland for sure and all of the 70th anniversary offerings that they have going on right now. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's good to have Noah
been my
back,
pleasure.
and it's good to have the whole band back together again. But I appreciate all of you guys listening. Make sure you click that link on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook page or whatever that has all of our links to the YouTube channel and subscribe there, as well as the podcasts. Go ahead and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Music, and we appreciate you. And if you go and listen to us on Carousel Pod, I'm sorry, if you listen to us and you want to, go ahead and use that discount code Carousel Pod for the
We need
Magic
money.
Candle Company.
Disney World's not cheap.
Bring the magic home with you.
So we
And
can
your
bring the
oils.
magic. We can experience the magic outside of our home.
Burn them oils.
If you got oils, diffuse them.
No.
And yeah. Yep. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, you
Marketing
gotta say car air
geniuses.
fresheners. Car air fresheners.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. And on that note, now we are not going to switch to the same pre-recorded message we played last week.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our show. Before you go, please don't forget to gather your belongings and head over to our email at carouselpod@gmail.com to ask us your questions. Oh, and wouldn't you believe it? You can now bring the magical sense of vacation right into your home. Check out the Magic Candle Company and use our exclusive link with the code CAROUSELPOD at checkout to get 15% off your order. And don't forget, we're here to help you plan your future Disney trips. Just send us a message at rj@famvia.com. Until next time, we'll see you in a great, big, beautiful week.